Okay, now I'm going to explain feeding the greens to the animals. So this is the chameleon Vinci. They need a clip of green leaf every other day or as needed. It gets dried out, so maybe 3 or 4 days depending on it, if it's moist. Same with Angelo. And Webster gets some. See how he has some in his bowl? But see how that's kind of looking dried out? If they're dry, they're not good. And also Lincoln, he gets some. See how all this is dried out? So we got to pick that stuff out of there, and then we throw it away, and then we give them some more. So the greens are in the refrigerator, and I will buy some more. So you have more. Collard greens are good. These are called kale greens, is what we have this time. Those are good too. Or collard greens. If you run out, you have to go to the store and buy some more. But you take one of the leaves like that, and you clean it really thoroughly. Actually, I already cleaned this one, so it's faster, but you have to make sure you get all the stuff off. And for the small crested, for the small bearded dragon, he likes small pieces like that. So you got to use one of these and take the smaller pieces off, like that, and then break these up. So we're going to give him about 10 to 20 pieces of the small stuff. Just a little bit more than that. And for the bigger guy, he wants bigger pieces. Those pieces are going to be about that big. What do I use for a reference? Here's a little toy car of Zachary's that I'll leave out there. That's a good reference. Okay, so we're going to give him those pieces. So we make a pretty good pile for him because he's a fatty and he needs a lot of this stuff. He's mostly vegetarian. So then that's about enough for him every other day. For the chameleons, we'll take this thing and we'll break off most of the stem, like so. The stem's trash. And if this was a bigger leaf, then I could break it in half, but this one's not that big, so I'll just take some more of this off and give that to Webster. These guys, like that, will get clipped into the cage. So we have to go find another piece. That can go for Vinci, and we need another smaller one for Angelo. So let's say here, we're going to break this off like that. You see, relative to the car, it's a pretty decent size. See, compare those, and then we'll clean this, of course, very thoroughly. Make sure you rub both sides in all areas. Okay. So we take these and we bring them to the cage. Yeah, it already has one in there, but I'm going to show you how to clip it. See, this is still moist, and this is still good for them to eat. But to show you, I clip it right between these two things. See, the clip doesn't hold by itself, but when you put the food on there it does. But having it between these two things right there makes it more stable because they climb on it. So I can't do this and hold it at the same time probably. You take your clip goes on the stem, and then make sure it's on the stem and between those two things, and then see, it holds it pretty well. Alright, and then they'll climb over there and eat that guy. Do the same for Angelo. Remember, Angelo was already eating it. This is awesome. We want him to eat this because Angelo's health is a little shaky. And then these go in between here. See, I found that little fork, and you go on the stem. So you make sure you press the stem in between. You can't see it now. Hold on, I can't do both. All right. So there's the stem, and I clip the stem in between these things, and see it's nice and solid, and it won't run the risk of that clip coming off and clipping the guy and sticking on their foot. All right, so these then will go into trash. Webster. Again, you lift these guys up, slide the cage open. We're going to take his old dried out food out of here. He doesn't need that anymore. And we're going to give him this stuff. Alright, that was the bigger pieces. Drop that in his bowl. Like so. See? And if you want to do something cool, you can take a piece, make it kind of flat, and you might be lucky enough to have them eat it out of your hand. Okay. Come on, want to eat? No, he's not going to eat, so don't worry about that. Just put that rest in there. Close the lid. Make sure it's latched. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm doing something else. Then Lincoln, same thing. You lift the tabs, slide this back, get out the old stuff. And when it's dried up, you know, it's not really that good for them. Plus when it's moist, it gives them that water. See, I just dumped it on there. Then you take these guys, put it in there. He actually could use a little bit more. This is not enough for him. But he's always fun because he'll take this right away. I love doing this. So you just take one, put it in front of him, and there he eats it from you. So I do this every time I feed him because I want him to eat from my hand. So that's what I do with him. Okay, and that is the greens. Make sure you latch this. It's closed. Right? And then we just throw the old greens in the trash. And that is feeding the greens to the animals.